this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up card videos, please click that subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. Also, I give away the demo card, so if you're a first-time subscriber, put your email in the comments and I'll email you back and let you know if you won the card. Also, make sure you watch the video all the way through, because you never know, I might give the card away to anyone, or I might be doing card kits or swaps or something. So anyway, now let's go make a card. Hello, today's video is from Color and Contour, and I'm also going to be using the dies. Now, I just did a video on just really kind of using the dies, and they came out really pretty. I kind of did a 2-for-1, and anyway, there's 6 of these cards that I'm giving away. But today we're going to actually use the stamp. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with the base, and I bet you're going to think that I'm going to say 5.5 by 4 1/4 like I always do, but no, it is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to close it in a way so it goes like that. And then you're going to need a piece of this beautiful, and this is all sneak peek kind of stuff, of the hand pinned DS paper, and it is insanely beautiful. I mean, wow. So this is going to be one of those go-to papers. And then this is going to be cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. So it's going to leave a little edge around here. And then on the inside, we're going to cut, this is on the back of hand pinned, and this is beautiful. It's a sky. It's insane. And this is going to be cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/8. So you're just cutting it below where you fold the card so it doesn't interfere. And then go ahead and take a piece of scratch paper, enough to stamp out these 2 flowers. For my next step, and before I even say anything, I did a card very, very similar to this one, and it's like, it actually, I meant to do this completely different, and it just kind of turned out this way. And if you want to go back, it's similar, but it's totally not the same. It's my laminated flowering bloom video from February 28th, if you want to look back on it. And what I did in that one is I stamped and I laminated. But this one, this is actually a die cut piece. And this is actually, the back side here is the back side of this paper. It's not cut. I didn't like tape it inside the frame here. It's the same piece. And this is just another piece going on top of it. In fact, that's another piece that we're going to need for the back. I forgot to put it in there. So what we want to do is we're going to take these dies, which are amazing. That's why I did a card just on the dies, because it's crazy awesome. And we're going to take the 3rd smallest, and we're going to cut out just a little template here. And what this is for is I'm going to take some tape. Now I'm using the teal color or green color tape that is part of the Tombow series. You can get it, from the big box stores. And this tape is great for temporarily sticking something down without it, being a problem. And any kind of residue from the tape, you can just get right up. So this is awesome. And what we're going to do is we're just trying to figure out where we want this in the card. Now, I left about 5/8 of an inch from the top, because I want to have enough for the frame and enough to peek out the Misty Moonlight there. So I'm going to go 5/8 from the top, and it's about right there. So I'm going to put this right here in the middle, and then take the die for the flower and get a pencil, and you're going to mark where this hits the flower. Like, I'm going to put this like right in the middle and right about there. So I want to mark this like so. I'm also going to mark the top here so I know where I had this frame. So the top, the sides, around the stem, in the corners here. And I'm just marking. Okay. And I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to look for those marks. Now this is very busy paper, so make sure you put enough mark to be able to find it. And so I know my mark is right here. Now I'm going to grab the die for the flower and I'm going to line it up here, and I want some of the stem to be on there, but I don't want to cut the stem off. So when I cut this out, I'm going to take the plate and bring it down to where I want it to end. So right on that mark that you made with the stencil there with the other die. So I'm going to do that. So this is hanging off. This is my line. My plate is right at my line. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through and then go ahead and crank it through. Okay, and you only need this to go through once because this DS paper is really thin. And gently take off the tape. Now I love my delicate frog tape, but it is tape, you know, it does its tape thing. So be careful when you take it off, especially with DS paper because it's really thin. So I am very carefully taking it off. And I've really gone to this tape because all the other tapes that I've tried haven't been very good. So, all right, so what we've got is something like this. So we got the flower hanging out, but it's still attached. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the die that we made the stencil with, that same third die, and we're going to line it up on the plate. Now, this is a great technique if you're doing something smaller, but I just wanted to do this because I hadn't done it on any of my videos yet, so I really wanted to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to tape this down, and I'm still using the same piece of frog tape, by the way, because you can use this over and over again. It's pretty fantastic. So, and I just kind of did it by chance because I needed tape one day because they changed the purple tape stuff and it was now terrible, and I was desperate, and it's like, oh, I have this old delicate tape, let me try that out, and it's like, wow, I've never gone back. So make sure when you put this down and you're lining this up that you see your cut inside and kind of line that up here, because you get a flower off to the side on the left and then one to the right, so make sure they're kind of even, and then tape it down. And of course I'm lined up on my stencil here. And then when I put the other plate on, I'm only cutting to almost to the bottom of the die, but not the bottom of the die. So line it up right to the edge. So this is not, this doesn't have a plate on it. So this won't be cut. So I'm going to run this through. So you've run it through to about here. So this whole bottom part has not been cut. So once you take it out, what you're going to do is you're going to turn it and it'll fit within your plate. So you're going to be fine. And then find that bottom again where you started. So it's about right here. So I'm going to take this plate and bring it almost all the way up. Not quite to that flower stem because we don't want to cut that out off and we don't want to risk cutting that off. So almost to the edge here, and we're going to cut this side. Now we've cut this side, you can see it here, and you can see where, well, you probably can't see in my video, but we're almost to that stem, not quite. So now we're going to turn around, of course, on the other side and do the same thing. Line this up to almost where it's going to be to the stem, but not. I'm going to do that. Now we can take it off. That whole time I was cutting, I never removed this die. So this is now the time you very carefully take the tape off your DS paper and look at your cuts. Very, very, very careful. You don't want to rip the paper at the end. So what you're going to have is, here's that edge, here's the flower, and here's your stem. It's almost better to look on the yellow side. So now we're going to get out a cutting mat. My light board here, which has my glass pad, is a Caterpillar. It was all 3 pieces. I get questions on this quite a bit. And if you go to Caterpillar or just Google Caterpillar, you'll see the mat that I use. But it comes with a cutting mat and a glass. And this is actually a light board underneath. So I just don't turn it on for videos because it doesn't do well with the video. So now I'm going to grab an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to look for that frame and look for the stem and connect it. And it, you know, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but literally no one will notice. So I'm just going to take that little bitty piece and cut to the end like that, and then do the same thing on the other side. And I might use this technique again on something else a little smaller, because I was going for something completely different from what actually turned out to be. So anyway, so now you're going to get a piece like that. So this is all connected. Now you want to take this piece and use that masking tape. So we're only going to temporarily put this down and snail it, and then put it up to your card in the place that you want it. So here, and then you're going to take a pencil and you're going to go in each of the corners and draw a little cutting edge so you can find it and match up the die. So I'm just doing the bottom here, along the stem, the corner for sure, here, okay, and then pull this up because it's only just masked on there, and you can see all your little marks. Now you're going to take another piece of Misty Moonlight and cut it 4 1/4 by 5 7/16, which is 1/16 of an inch shorter than 5 1/2. So it's just not covering, it's not hitting the fold. So now you're going to take your temporary tape again here, because you don't want this to be permanently down. Do not use your regular snail. Use the temporary tape. And you're going to line this up to the inside where you want it. And what we're doing is we are going to cut 2 pieces in once, because when you open my card, it's all nice and clean on the back. So I don't have you don't see the window, because there's a window here. So on the front, tape that piece on, and like I said, it's 1/16 of an inch shorter than the fold, so it folds nice and easy. Now you're going to take that die and you're going to use the same piece of delicate frog tape, which I can use over and over again because it's awesome, and line up my die and tape it down. And then we're gonna run this through the die cutter probably 4 or 5 times so it gets both pieces of the paper. So I've run it through, and you can kind of see before you even take anything off that it's cut all the way through. So very gently take off the tape. There's one. And you know, it's tape, so you know, don't go crazy. Just be slow about it. Take it off. Now, if it pulls a little bit on the middle like that one did, that's fine, because we're not going to use that piece anyway. So these go to the side. And then we're going to take off the back, because this was just that teal Tombow one. Even I know it's in a pink case because I lost the other one, but it's in that green or teal end. So not the pink one, the teal one. And it totally doesn't stick. So it's awesome for doing this. So now we've got the back to cover up the window and this cut. So let's go to the next step. Get your DS paper again and your real snail, and we're going to put this piece down and line it up to cut out the frame. So I'm just going to, I might have to stick my head in the camera. I'm going to line this up, and it might take a few minutes to wiggle it into the right spot. And this is what it's going to look like. And now take a piece of window sheet, and the window sheets are in the catalog. It's number 142314. So take a piece of this and cut it 4 1/2 by 3 1/2, and take your regular snail, and on the inside here, snail around that window, and then place it on the window here. And then you're going to take the piece that you put on temporarily and put real snail on there, and we're going to line that up and place it on. Now you want to start at the opening end here, and it'll be 1/16 of an inch shy Whoopsie. And you do want to make sure there is a right side and the wrong side. I just put the wrong side. So a 1/16 inch shy of the fold. And it covers up that window mess. And it looks nice. And it'll look like this. Now before we finish up the frame and everything, we need to get this flower in. So, if you're going to stamp it once, you might as well stamp it twice. So go ahead and grab your Memento and your block and the big flower. And I'm using 2 stamping pads. I like to stamp on the stamping pad and stamp on the stamping pad. And they're back in the catalog now, so you could definitely get a stamping pad. And we're going to stamp 2 of these. So I'm going to put one here and then stamp it up again, really nice. And I'm going to put another one right here. Now we're going to color our flower. Now I kind of went between different colors here. Now this one is the Daffodil Delight, which I finally decided to go ahead and do. And then this one inside, I used a different one because I already had it cut out and I didn't care. And this one is actually the new color. It's called Pale Papaya. It's really close to kind of pale. It's kind of in between a pale pink and a blushing bride. And this one here is a blushing bride, because blushing bride is actually one of the colors on this DS paper, but I thought it looked better with the Daffodil Delight. So we're not going to do those. We're going to just do Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to take the dark one only, and I'm going to just color in the flowers without hitting the line so much. And actually, I'm not going to use the dark. I'm going to use the light. So I'm going to do the flowers here. So I'm going to just color them real quick, and I'll be right back. Now the leaves, I'm going to use the dark mint macaroon, because mint macaroon is in this DS paper. And if you ever need, whenever you're using DS paper, the easiest thing is picking your colors, because they're all on the back. Literally, you can just go to the back and go, which green? It's like, oh, this one. So I'm going to go ahead and color all these leaves. And there's a leaf up here, don't forget. And I'm going to color all these, and I'll be back again. Once you've colored them, then cut. Always color first and then cut. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the die and tape it on here so it doesn't wiggle through, and I'm going to cut both of these out. Now take one of the flowers and snail it up and put it right over the DS paper flower and line them up real nice and tight. Okay, and you will have some extra here on the bottom, so go ahead and take a piece, take your scissors and cut it off right past it. So just cut off that tiny little piece. Now we need to make this frame. So take your dies, the 3rd and the 4th largest die, and tape them together like so. Make sure they're even. I'm just kind of showing you on the camera here. Tape them so they're even and run them through on this Misty Moonlight to make this frame. So I'm going to go and do that. And what you're going to get when you take this apart is this. And this is what we want. Put that to the side. You can keep this for another project, and you're going to get this frame. And go ahead and take your snail, and we're going to line it up on the card. So take it, and I'm going to put my head in the camera here. Just line it up. So I'm going to line this up because it'll take a bit of wiggling, and I'll be right back. So that's what the frame's going to look like. Now, if you had a little piece of that white sticking through from when you cut it out, go ahead and take an X-Acto knife, lift it up, and just cut it out. It's not a big deal. And then if you see any white along the side that you don't care for, be very, very careful. And you can take your Stampin' Right marker with the Misty Moonlight, or you can take the Stampin' Blend and just kind of hit the very inside edge just to kind of clean that up. But if you want to just leave it, go ahead and leave it. It'll probably be just fine. Now you're going to grab the DS paper, Beauty of the Earth, and on one of the backs of the sheet is this awesome skyline. So this is another incredible must-have paper. So you're going to grab a piece of that, and it's going to be cut 4 1/4 by 5 7/16. So you're missing that folding edge again. And I decided this is the top and this is the bottom. And I'm going to stamp on there here for you now. So I'm going to take my Stampin' pads and stamp on the Stampin' pad here and just put it on the edge right here. Now go ahead and take that piece and put real snail on it, and of course line this up with the opening of the card. And the only thing we have to do left is the flower. Now how you do the flower is you take your snail, the real snail, not the masking stuff, and snail the back of it. And then you're going to line it up with the window in the card. So line this up perfectly. And then you're going to take this side and you're going to close it. And guess what it did? It lined it up perfectly. So that is my card. So if you are a first-time subscriber, put your email in the comments or your address in the comments, and I will mail you out the demo card if you're the first one. I'm also going to give the second one to an already subscribed person. So one for a new subscriber, one for an already subscribed person, and that'll do it for me. Thanks. Bye.